Welcome to this edition of the All Average Wrestling Show. I'm your host, Brandon BT Taylor. Um, kind of want to get into some things. I'm not gonna get into like the legit details and everything. More like a general picture here of what was going on. So last Monday, I announced that the main event hub was shutting down and all shows would be done for the foreseeable future. When I said that last week, that was mainly due to the uncertainty of what was going on with me in life. More like financial stuff, what new job and time would be and stuff. Like I didn't know what was next. And I couldn't commit to doing this going forward last week. So last week, without getting into any details, I quit my job of 5 years. I'm not going to say where. Not going to get into details of why, except for it was a hostile work environment created by a higher up, where I was getting targeted for a lot of things. I ended up leaving work literally for 2 years with my mental health absolutely demolished, and a bunch of other things, which I don't really want to like get into. But I will get into the effect it had on me. So it was going on for about 2 years. I ended up abruptly quitting last Monday. And so it took its toll on me. And I just finally had enough. Was it the smart thing to do at the time with no backup plan in place? No, really wasn't. But I just had enough mentally with the specific place and management. Um, because of all this, I lost the passion to do a lot of things that I love doing, this included. And it became more of a attempted distraction rather than something I like doing. And that goes back to even when we were doing the Duffy BT and Bobby Wrestling show at the end. And when we were doing the All Average Wrestling show with Bobby and BT, to even this now and even shots fired. It was mainly all used as a distraction of everything. And it's later on became more of a drag to do. Not because I wanted to do it or because I like doing it. And I do. I actually like doing this. It's kind of a way to get a lot of like whatever if I'm doing a sports show or wrestling show. A lot of like takes and stuff I have to get off my chest rather than just type it on X for like 4 people to see or do it on Facebook, any of the groups. This is more like an easier avenue to do all that. I surprisingly rebounded quickly from from unknown unemployment, income, this, that, and the other, to I now have another job. Um, my hours are different. I'm no longer doing the known 3 a.m.s anymore. Um, I've at least this last week, I found peace. My stress is gone because of that place. My mental health is 10 times better than what it was compared to a week ago. Um, so with my schedule now, I'm able to now do a lot more things I wasn't able to do because of the early morning time frame that I was doing. If I wanted to, I could start doing post shows for Raw, SmackDown, AW NXT. That I don't know if I'll do yet, which gets into what's next for the main event hub and all the shows. So I end up landing the job officially Monday. I'm not gonna get into what it is, just my pay is practically the same. There's some stuff I gotta figure out financially, which I don't think will be that hard to figure out budget and stuff. But so then after I figured that out, it really was what's next? What do I want to do? What do I how do I figure out what's next? Especially for this. Um the all average wrestling show. So for starters, the main event hub will still be a thing, but not really. Like I'm not changing the name on any like the socials we have on it because it's such a fucking great name for an all around thing. And in case I want to like expand later on, I'm gonna probably within the next few weeks, I'm gonna figure out what's next for shots fired because that one affects more than just me. But the goal is on my end to have shots fired this fall. It's just I got to figure out how. If I have to do StreamYard, I have to do StreamYard. I just got to figure out a budget. But it's really figuring out how to do shots fired because it's more than just me. Because I can technically all average wrestling show has been recorded. It's always been recorded except for like 2 episodes. So it's very easy for me to go out of my way and record than it is to go live, especially with a lot of people, a lot of our schedules, a lot of us come together with all this. But the goal is within the next few weeks, after I figure out what I'm budgeting, how I'm budgeting, all this stuff with rent and necessity, all that other shit, happy go lucky shit, then I can sit down and figure out the best avenue for shots fired. Not the door is not closed on shots fired. It's more of figuring out what's next with that. Live show discussions that goes hand in hand with shots fired. I'm figuring out really what's next, how to do it, all that happy-go-lucky bullshit. Because I could technically do this just through OBS and all that stuff, and just me. But it is more fun at the end of the day when I do Shots Fired, when I do the live shows like the NFL Draft Show. And the NBA Finals is next month, so I'll most likely figure out something by then when it comes to the live shows and this, that, and the other. Elite Sports Take, barely got that off the ground, but that is something I am looking into doing now that I have more time and more of a availability and flexibility rather than doing this at like the crack ass of dawn on a Saturday or half awake in the middle of the week because I'm exhausted. And so Elite Sports Take, I'll think that will be happening. And then the All I've Addressed show, definitely still going on. Will definitely still be a thing. I feel like I can do more now. And I have my passion for this came back. Passion for a lot of things over the last week has come back. I'm 10 times happier than I was a week ago. I know people are like, well, it's a hell of a mental health swing. It's when you leave like an abusive relationship and you don't realize how bad, it's bad, but you don't realize how bad it was until after you're out of it. That's how this feels. I knew it was bad. I didn't realize how bad until I was out of it. And I have a renewed passion and hope for all of this and doing this. I can do 10 times more content than I was consistently doing beforehand that I can do now. And I'm it's been I'm happy at the end of the day. And with all that, I'm ecstatic for what's next, what I can do next. Especially with this, because even if I don't do Shots Fired or even live shows anymore, I still love doing this. It doesn't cost money to sit here and record and get this podcast out and this, that, and the other. I love doing live because I'm able to interact with people, whether it's people I'm doing a show with or it's people or the very few that comment on the stream. And that's why I like doing the live. I loved doing this at one point in time. And then with everything going on, it became more like a chore because I didn't have the motivation to really be doing this. It became more of a distraction rather than a passion. And I'm ready to do this again. It's just really figuring out what's next for half of this. The other half's very easy to figure out and stuff. Not worried about it. But I'm in a 10 times better place than I was even 10 days ago. Happier. I sleep better. And I can't wait to really do more of this, get more content out, be more consistent with this, and just go back to having fun with this. And that's the main reason why I did it. When I started doing this years ago when we were in a Facebook group called Facebook Sports Debate, now named something else. I think it's Top Sports now, not. But me, LJ, who's on Shots Fired, and Ro, we started doing FSD Live every Wednesday. And that's when I started to completely love this. And then I started doing the Raw discussion threads live with Duffy in a wrestling group that we were in. And then me and Duffy transitioned more into a sports show where we started to interview wrestlers. And then when Bobby's show ended, that's when we brought Bobby in, and the Duffy BT and Bobby Wrestling Show became a thing, which incredibly well received. It was the most fun I had ever doing this. And then it branched out to more stuff. Shots Fired became a thing because me, Duffy, and Bobby mainly transitioned to wrestling going forward. And we had it was mainly for our groups that we ran at the end of the day for Facebook. And then it just became something more. It was the most fun I ever had ever doing this. Same with Shots Fired. And then probably near the end of when we were doing the Duffy BT and Bobby Wrestling Show. That's when all the shit that was going on with my job really started to begin. And it was just consistent. There's only so much you can take. 5 days a week, pretty much leaving feeling like a piece of shit, worthless, and all that other stuff. It does a toll on you. And then we did All Out Wrestling Show. That ended. But when we were doing that, I didn't really have like the passion at that time for it. At that time, it was more like this feels like a fucking drag. And then I started doing this, and as you obviously could tell, a lot of people who follow me on X, people who follow me on Facebook, you all realize how inconsistent pumping out content and stuff was. Like I'm not even sure. The WrestleMania post show review never saw the light of day. It was audio issues at the end of the day with that one. And on top of it, I just didn't have like the passion to go through and really fix all those issues with that episode. So it never saw the light of day. So I missed reacting to major moments like Darby winning the world title, Brock's retirement, and everything that happened with Mania. I'm in a better mental space now, and we're about 18 minutes in. You probably were like, okay, wrap it up, buddy. You're just fucking rambling for the last 18. But I'm in a better place. I can't wait for what's next, mainly for this Main Event Hub. All of that. Keep Main Event Hub name. It's still gonna be on the Main Event Hub umbrella. I'm not changing the X name. That's pretty much gonna be my personal account and where I share this stuff. And yeah, that's where I'm at, So expect more of me going forward. I'll have an update probably in the next few weeks with Shots Fired. But yeah, that's just where I'm at. So while I am recording this here, I want to get into